what if there is a dimension that you can plug into that it's purely consciousness driven, meaning there's no physical experience, there's no touching the ground, there's no gravity, but you exist in a conscious state and it's perpetual. Like if you take a rocket ship and it gets past our gravity and shoots off into distant space and you have a clear shot of 14 billion years back to the beginning of the universe itself with nothing in the way, you're just going to keep going for 14 billion light years. You're just going to keep going. Like, what if there is a place that your consciousness can go to like that, where it's no longer burdened by biology, by the timeline of birth to death, by the limitations of the flesh, but consciousness itself can exist in some bizarre dimension that we just haven't access to. We look at the imagination and we say, oh, he's just imagining things. But everything in the world is from the imagination. Every building, every airplane, every car, every piece of clothing, every computer, everything came out of the imagination. Everything. I think the imagination is something really fucking weird. I think we've somehow or another, we've almost like, I don't want to say we underestimate it, but we underrate it. We put it into this weird little category like it's a silly thing. Oh, yeah. You're just imagining. And that allows it to operate. And by underrating it or by undervaluing it, it allows it to sort of roam free and do all of its work. But it's responsible for creating everything that we see that humans have ever done in the world. Yeah, I really wondered about that with aliens, with that archetypal alien, the iconic gray with the large black eyes and the mouth. Like, that thing's real now. Yeah. It's a real thing. Yeah. I mean, whether or not you ever meet one or whether or not one exists in a physical state where you could drag it in front of the National Enquirer photographers and get some good shots of it, it's a real thing. And what I mean by it's a real thing is, if you do mushrooms, you'll fucking see them. Mm-hmm. You will see them. And are you seeing them because you did mushrooms and you're hallucinating, or are you seeing them because we've created this archetype that plugs into the imagination easily and connects you to this thing, this imaginary world, or this world that, see, I don't even like the word imaginary, because like every time I've done a psychedelic, I don't like that word imaginary, because to me it seems like it's some sort of a frequency that you're tuning into where a real world exists that you can't bring back anything physical from. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I feel like it's entirely possible that what we think of as these like gray aliens, they're like almost like a frequency of the universe that you can tune into, whether you're on psychedelics or whether you're dreaming, which is of course your brain producing its own psychedelics. Your brain produces dimethyltryptamine while you're sleeping. I had experience once, one of the first times I ever did DMT, where I saw the difference between negative and positive thinking. Like, I started thinking negative and there was all this like black and dark green and like these threatening shapes and colors. And then something recognized what was going on in my brain, that these shapes and images were connected to negative thinking. And I relaxed and the shapes kind of like settled down, and then I started thinking positive. Like, I heard all these like expressions of love, but like you're hearing it, but you're not really hearing it. It's like the thoughts are getting into your head, like someone's trying to say it without using words. Yeah. And then I started thinking positive, and from those dark images blossomed these like beautiful like geometric flowers and colors and impossibly spectacularly beautiful images. And I was like, oh, and I recognized in my mind there's an actual thing that happens when you think negatively, and it's not just some sort of an abstract idea.
You affect the program.
The first time I had a mushroom trip, I was with my friend Eddie, and we were near a mountain. It was like a very high hill. We were below it, and we were laying down in the grass, just laughing and giggling. And I don't know if you've ever been like lying down, looking up at a mountain range, and you see the sky and the clouds go overhead. It was the first time, I think, in my life that I really took in the concept of an atmosphere, of the shape of the earth being round, and that behind that atmosphere, I'm looking up at this blue sky, it's beautiful, but I didn't see the blue sky anymore. I saw it, I knew it was there, but I realized that it's just this layer, and then beyond that is the vast infinity of space. And I remember looking at it and thinking for the first time, because of this hill, I could see, like, I'm like, oh my God, we're like in a convertible spaceship. Like, this whole thing is a spaceship. Like, this is an illusion. We're standing here like we're on ground. We're laying down on the grass, looking up at the sky. But this is not sky. This is a thin layer of atmosphere that's protecting you from space. And then above that is, there's no end to it. And it fucking stuck in my head, that idea, like, for the very first time. And it's something about being below a mountain and lying down and looking up and seeing the mountain and seeing the air and seeing the clouds go, where it just set into my mind, like, whoa, that's an atmosphere. This isn't just the sky. This is like, so from that moment on, I can look up at a mountain now and I get this like weird, almost like half trippy feeling.